Hello, hello, hello. What was that?
Oh, I can't say it on the show.
Oh, okay.
I knew a guy that skipped town and ran out on some bookies. But
they track him down?
no, they're like, oh.
You have to start a new life then, right?
If you owe an insano amount, like they may come and really put the pressure on you and do the shit you see in movies. But for anything under 10 grand, I think everybody just writes it off because it's all bullshit money anyway. Really,
All right, buddy. This is where's this going?
This is Monday 3.
Monday 3.
And we'll do the second segment tomorrow.
Okay.
4.
Perfect.
So we'll just do a 20.
All right, here we go. In 3, I'll bring us back.
Okay.
3, 2. Welcome back to A Corporate Time.
So I'm sure everybody saw this story, and there may be more that came out since.
Yeah.
We're recording this.
Kind of breaking Orlando news because one of these gentlemen arrested in Orlando after the Orlando Magic beat his team.
Yeah.
Which is wild to me that feds are storming the team hotel of the Miami Heat to arrest
Terry.
Terry Rozier.
Rozier, yeah. I think that's how you pronounce his name. But
Unbelievable, dude.
So there's 2 separate illegal gambling operations that somehow kind of came together and culminated into this big bust with Terry and Chauncey Billups, the coach of the Trailblazers.
But they're totally different stories.
Yes, and totally different things. But amongst a bigger illegal gambling operation.
They're kind of lumping it all together in one story today, but it's 2 separate, unique gambling stories. But so you're going to tell me about this? Because I know very little about this, but I know this is your wheelhouse.
So they arrested Terry in Orlando because he essentially was giving inside information to essentially big gambling syndicates, and they were prop betting based on his insider information. So, essentially he knew, and I've said, the inside information is where the most value is.
Yeah, we've talked about this for years.
And it's so this guy's like, hey, I'm going to take myself out because I'm hurting, I'm only going to play a small amount of time. That inside information, you get it out there, and then a syndicate can spread that throughout maybe even 100 different bets, and because prop betting there's a limit to, but they were saying in the story I read, getting up to like 200 grand down on and especially if it's a go-to, you're gonna bet the limit on every single out that you have.
Sure.
If you heard it from Terry himself, I'm taking myself out of the, it's a lot
because what he was doing, Terry, just to give you guys a real world example of an example they use in the story, he would, let's say, put himself, he's in, right, and he starts the game. He plays, let's say, as little as 2-3 minutes, then pulls himself out because he's got, quote, sick. He's sick or he pulled something.
Or it's I got a tight hamstring, so I'm going to play. And NBA players do this all the time, so it's super easy to cover. It's not weird. It's not like Anthony Richardson saying I'm too tired, I'm gonna take the but that was weird.
Right.
But an NBA player hey, I'm my hamstring's tight,
and it happens all the time.
Yeah. So it's easy to conceal.
I saw it last night at the Magic game. You would see players that oh, he might be injured. Oh no, he'll come back in.
So that is okay. The inside information and players doing that, we all can understand what that is, and and understand how. That's bad. It's similar to inside information on stocks. The Chauncey Billups story is even more bizarre. I mean, way more bizarre because it involves an illegal poker operation that him and other NBA players were playing. Yeah. And it's not about them playing poker. That happens all the time, and it's fine. In fact, I've only seen people get in trouble for hosting poker games and taking a rake like a casino.
Yeah.
You could host a poker game at your house and a bunch of rich guys can play each other in poker. No one cares, right? It goes on every day around the world, every single place. That's not the problem. Well, the problem is that the mob was tied into this and they were defrauding the actual players by cheating in the card games,
right?
Using fake card shuffling machines and even X-ray technology to read the players' cards. So
but what was Chauncey doing? Was Chauncey just
I don't know.
Was he the guy bringing in the whales?
Yes.
That had the money, or was Chauncey actively like doing something like
involved in the cheating. That's the weird thing. So
and they always right under that they'll say Chauncey was fixing card games for La Costa Nostra.
Yeah. There's mafia involved.
Yeah.
Like, and so and they said they defrauded people out of upwards of $7 million and counting, right? Like,
Jesus, that's a lot of money.
And it was okay. I've seen a glimpse of this in a small town way where I've been to card games with super rich dudes and
and
even some sports.
You've been to some secret card games.
Some sports players. I mean, some guys that end up being pretty big, and like people involved in sports. Now everybody was just playing Texas Hold'em, right? And they paid the dealers to like deal the games just like any
Was it a fair game?
Well, who knows? But I'm sure it seemed like it. Now, that's the thing I was questioning, because in all these stories, I can't tell if it's a regular Texas Hold'em. And here's why I don't think it is. Because in Texas Hold'em, the dealer just deals. All the players are playing each other.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
So you could fix the game and have one plant that wins all the players' money. You see what I'm saying? But that seems harder, because now with this much, like $7 million and taking this much money, you would have to have a bunch of different plants playing in every single card game. And then I feel like the rich guys would be like, well, who's this guy that's winning all the time?
Yeah,
like, you know
it
what I'm
might be
saying?
a little suspect,
like,
sure.
So it seems like they were playing more, like games more like a regular casino where you're playing against the dealer and you're playing like a 3-card poker game or something. You know, like you sit down and you sit down with 7 other people, but you're playing the dealer, and the dealer.
Yeah. Well, you could play alone with the dealer if you
Yeah.
wanted to. Yeah. It's you against the house.
And then the house was cheating, but somehow Chauncey Billups was involved with this.
Yeah, it says officials have described the investigation as ongoing and very much active. Chauncey is accused of being a key player in brazen mafia-linked poker cheating schemes. He allegedly used his fame to draw victims into rigged games and colluded with others to swindle high rollers out of millions of dollars. The charges and evidence so far come from federal authorities who conducted a lengthy undercover investigation. They don't really have any more.
So I'm gonna do a little defending a monster.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Well, I mean,
because
there are a lot of monsters in the gambling world.
So I could imagine. Okay, let's just say that back in the day when I was going to these poker games, and there's a bunch of rich dudes.
That you were swindling people out of millions of dollars.
No. Imagine like a lot of these rich dudes. They like the money they win and lose didn't even matter. They owned car dealerships. They owned a bunch of businesses.
Sure.
They lost money all the time.
Funny money.
Yeah. They didn't even care. They were so rich, and I can imagine if I found out like the mafia was running these games, right? And they came to me like Drunky the Bear, and they're like, "Hey, you can get other rich guys. Can you get other rich guys to come to this game?"
Definitely see you doing that.
And they're like, "Hey, we'll pay you, 10% of what we take from these rich guys.
Yeah.
All you have to do is get them to show up." And like, this is a victimless crime. These guys are drunk. They don't care. They're cheating on their wives here. You see them.
Yeah.
They're
doing worse things.
Yeah. They're
this
a bunch
is
of
the least of their
yeah.
problems.
They're so rich. This is not going to bother them. Who cares? And they're going to lose anyway. So might as well lose to us, and you might as well get a cut. I could see some conversation like that.
Okay.
Now, what's bizarre is that Chauncey Billups, a coach of an NBA team, would even involve himself in any of this.
Well, not just a coach of an NBA team, an
active
coach.
A former NBA star.
Well, and even more than that, he was just put in the Hall of Fame in last year, right? Or 2024. My point is, by bringing that up, he's a very high-profile coach.
Yeah.
He's a Hall of Famer active coach, which to me is like you'd want to keep the lowest profile ever.
It seems like the money couldn't be worth it. Although $7 million, Chauncey.
Is it more than his salary? Can't be.
Well,
he's got to get paid more as the head coach.
The mafia is taking the most of it. You see what I'm saying? They're only paying him a little bit of that. So it seems weird that but maybe he thought like. Just like anybody.
Victimless crime.
Like the victims are a bunch of the rich people, right? Like they're the rich guys are who's playing these games,
Right?
Like
right.
and they
other players, other coaches. It said too.
Yeah, like so you got a bunch of rich people and other players playing these games, and like maybe he was like, the money, the couple $1,000s a night or 10 grand or 50 grand they lost doesn't mean anything to them. I see them drop 50 grand in the club. You know what I'm saying? Like so maybe he's just rationalizing like that. Like who cares? It's what I'm saying. Now,
I mean, I think in order to be in this world, you are going to have to do a little bit of rationalization, right?
Yeah.
You're going to have to.
So I want to find out more details, like exactly, because the X-ray.
His salary is about $4 million.
Yeah. So it seems like now you're banned from the NBA and forever, right?
Well, I don't know. Do they kick you out of the Hall of Fame too, right?
I don't know.
I don't know if they leave you in there for that.
So, I mean, you've lost now $4 million immediately. So it's like the risk is not.
Could you go to jail for this? Is that a Mo question?
Oh, no, he's going to jail because
this isn't just you pay all the money back and you do some community service probation type thing.
No.
This is a jail time type deal.
Well,
so you go from Hall of Famer and active NBA coach to jail time? Why would you do that?
I don't know how much.
Why would you do that?
Because they'll get him for wire fraud and racketeering. Because that's what they get all the mafia and everybody for,
I can't find a motivation to do this.
Maybe he got in deep, like we talked about before. It's like if you have a gambling problem or whatever, then you dig yourself a hole, and then they take advantage of you. Like, hey, we'll help you out of this, but you got to help us.
Well, that was that other player. I'm blanking on the guy's name, but see if I can find him up here. Before Rozier, it was the other gentleman that they were investigating, and he Chauncey Porter. Chauncey Porter is that was the original one that kind of tipped off this whole thing, the whole scheme.
Yeah.
And are they all linked?
Well, they said that they overlapped, and that's why it all happened at once. But
yes.
I'm guessing because there's other crime families involved in this, like. They mentioned the Gambino crime family.
This is insane, man.
Yeah, this is what movies are like.
Yes.
They may make a movie about this.
They'll make a movie about this for sure, because this is real, current day mafia with the NBA. That's a sexy movie, man.
Yeah.
That's a sexy movie.
And like when you defraud people out of money, it's sad. But overall, listen, I've seen the internet. No one feels bad for rich people. Like everybody being defrauded here was rich. For the most part, like I don't know how rich, but probably everybody listening to this is probably richer than they are, like richer than I am for sure. And so I don't know how bad anybody's gonna feel about the victims of this, because
this is from our chat room. This is an alleged. I don't know where he got this. Someone in the chat room says apparently a player on the Magic with a relationship to one of the defendants let him know that none of the Magic starters would play in a game on April 6th, 2023. Hopefully no one on the roster currently, obviously.
Well, who cares? And this is the thing. Like, who cares if you're playing poker? That's not the illegal part.
Right.
The illegal part
is the fixing of the game.
Yeah, fixing the game to steal people's money.
Right.
That's fraud. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, they sat down, they believed they were playing a poker game with fair odds, and so and you're allowed to do that. Now, you can't host and take a rake.
No.
Because now you're acting as a casino and you don't have a license for that.
And you cannot do that.
But that's illegal to the person taking the rake, not to the player.
Well,
people are confused by like what's illegal. People see the illegal poker game, and they're like, "Oh, they were just playing poker." Oh, like it's not that.
No. And also to go back to it, what you were saying was like that mafia pressure of so you're gambling through the mafia, using credit. And you have an addictive personality, and it goes way out of hand. And I'm talking about Chauncey Porter, right? So he gets way out of hand, and then he's got a lot of debt built up, right?
Yes.
And then they say to him, well, you could probably do us some favors by giving us some of this insider information since you are this professional basketball player, and maybe we'll
eliminate the
take care of some of this debt for you. And that's what was happening there. That's why this will be a movie. That's a movie, dude.
100%.
There have been movies about this.
100%. Yes, and that's how it happens in the movie, where they find.
I didn't think this was real, I guess is what I'm telling you.
Yeah.
With the whole mafia thing sprinkled on top, and I saw this the article you're talking about. They listed like 4 crime families, and I'm like, I didn't know there were 4 crime families left.
Yeah, no, I know. I thought that was a thing of the past. I knew that it kind of existed, but I thought
this has got to be rampant, right? I mean, if this is what we're seeing, then or no, is this the big outlier they were looking for?
Here's the thing about the cops. So, like, and even like the attorneys of some of these basketball players, like, were saying, you guys could have contacted us. We were already in contact with you. You wanted to make it. They call it a perp walk. Like, they wanted to arrest them and make it a media thing.
Right.
Because there's they
make it look like the FBI's doing something.
yeah. The FBI wants all this story.
It's high profile. They're big names.
Yeah, and it seems like they're cracking down. Plus, like, all the sports books and stuff want to send a message that you guys can't get away with this. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Even though
we're gonna slap your pee-pee hard.
It's happening and still happening because, again, that inside information is so easy to start leaking. Like, it's like us, if we were big enough and we didn't tell anybody we weren't going to be on Twitch this morning, right? Because we're recording our Halloween special, right?
Yep.
No one knew that, right? And let's say there was some sort of way to bet on that, right? If we were going to be on Twitch this
Tracy
morning.
would have been the only person to know that, right?
But I'm saying it would be so easy.
She starts running her mouth to some listeners.
To just mention that to someone and then they give it to some syndicate, and now all of a sudden you're making a bunch of different micro bets, because I say micro because there's a limit in all this, like even if it's $100 limit.
That's the other part I can't wrap my brain around too, is you being, I'm using you as the example because you're the gambler, right? So you're my gambler and you have a lot of your buddies that have accounts as well because they're gamblers.
Yes.
So let's say you know 125 gamblers.
Yeah.
And then you have this information. It blows my mind to think that these guys are organized enough to take 125 moving pieces, activate all 125 with money, get money. Those people, I guess, get a little bit their take, and then you get your take too. Like, it seems way too complicated. How do they do it?
Some of these syndicates are gigantic operations.
Is it automated?
They have some that are automated.
Or would that be too big of a tell to AI? SJ in the chat room is talking about how AI really is cracking down on a lot of this stuff because it's finding those nuances in the gambling algorithm and tipping off the books to be like, that ain't right. That ain't right. That ain't right.
It's easy. Well, that's the thing why it's hard to get away with all this.
Yeah.
Because, again, the books can communicate with each other, and then all of a sudden, like, you're getting word from your software or from whoever's managing it. It's like, why are everybody winning on these props only?
Right.
And then you call Caesars and you're like, hey, is someone winning on like the Terry props of like in game whatever game?
And they were. This is exactly what happened.
And then they all start like
people were livid.
Or like, yeah, we're all losing on this, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, there's too much.
Yeah, who's winning on this? Find those guys.
Because they know, because they're like, if the sports books lose over time, then there's fraud. And that's the saddest part of all this is that we all know that the sports books and casinos and everything have an advantage, and the mathematical advantage, and you cannot win over time.
Correct.
And then when we defraud them, it's a crime. What the hell? They're defrauding us.
This is a variation of
the damn lotto's a fraud. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, go, spend 20. It's up to $1 billion. Go spend $100 on. No one understands the statistics of it. So it's funny because like the sports books, the casinos, the lotto, they're all defrauding us. Except when we get to them,
design.
They're like, "Oh, get them! They cheated us." Like, you cheat everybody.
But we know that going in. In this one,
we?
This one's pretty interesting too. Rozier had an NBA. The NBA did their own 2023 investigation on him, and they cleared him of all wrongdoing. Which is funny because it almost makes you think that like the NBA is like, let's just let this go away. Like we just want this to go away.
It was probably hard to prove because if he's as long as he's not dumb enough to put it in text or an email, then if you're just doing this by voice, and by phone call, unless they have a wiretap or something, like it's impossible to prove, right?
Yeah, and I guess that is where he's leaning. He's leaning on like, hey, the NBA already cleared me of this. Of course he is.
Like it depends on how good he is at hiding all this. But if you just talk to someone, personally, out in a field or somewhere where you can't be recorded, then you could get away with it, because how are you going to prove that you gave someone inside information? You would have to have that individual person testify
like
against you.
Wiretapped or something.
Yeah. It would
and you can't do that.
Or you know, if you did do it, then you could prove that he did. But it's like, you know, that's a lot more work.
Well, he'll get to defend himself in court, so maybe we'll get to play it out. Like this one's a little better because it's not a murder or somebody dying. It's just a sensational sports gambling story.
The thing is, I don't think it'll ever stop, and this will continue to happen, and it's fine. Like even the sports books don't really care. They want more. They want to scare everybody into like, hey, gamble right. Don't try to cheat us. We can only cheat you. Like,
and this is doing a good job of that, I think, right?
Yeah, but it is super hypocritical to even like look at this now. Cheating the individual player is worse. Like the mafia, like bringing in.
I still can't believe the mob's involved.
Yeah, bringing in like, you know, other rich guys and stealing their money, and they thought it was a fair game, and then you know.
Can I ask you a simple?
But again, who's gonna feel bad about you know, some guy that owns a couple car dealerships in New Jersey or whatever? You know,
just another rich guy.
And he goes to a game because he hears Chauncey Billups and some other NBA players are going to be there. And then you don't tell your friends, like, hey, I was playing with Chauncey Billups cards last night.
That is a big name to wing around.
You're like, I lost my ass.
That's weird. I'm not good at cards anymore. Let me ask you a serious Chauncey Billups question. So you know you're working with the mob and you're not at all concerned at all. I'm saying from a very layman.
He may not have known it was actually
the mob. He had
to have
not known, right? I mean, wouldn't most, like, I don't think I know of one person that if you actively knew you were working with them, it would scare me is what I'm saying.
Yeah. You'd be like, hey, this is too big.
Yeah.
I'm just here to, like, you know, get some rich guys. They come play, lose their money. Who cares? I've seen them waste so much money.
Because if he starts singing and talking about everything he was doing, this could spiral, right?
I guess they already arrested.
Is his life in danger? Is what I'm saying? Like, or is it that, or am I sensationalizing it because of what I know from the movies?
I think that's what you know. I don't know. I mean,
it's a weird story.
Yeah.
It's a weird story.
They arrested like a bunch of mafia guys apparently too involved in all this.
Yeah, a bunch of young, like, up and coming poker players too.
Well, I mean, Chauncey Billups' attorneys got a hold of it, so we'll never hear his, you know, unless he actually testifies in court, which is probably not going to happen, you know. But I want to hear more details of what actual card games they were doing. If it was a Texas Hold'em or like a 3-card poker, them running it like a casino. God,
I hope we get that information. Yeah,
I want to see like the X-ray cards table that they were
how
using.
Sophisticated was this operation?
Like, was someone behind the scenes telling the dealer in an earpiece what cards the players had and how to bet? You know, like although. It's weird because now I'm thinking of like how regular like 3-card poker is played, right?
Sure.
So the dealer, they just play like they always have the advantage anyway. So they, you know, you kind of can just run it straight and you always win on math too.
Yeah, you will. You. I mean, eventually you will always win.
So and then I guess the dealer's just playing by the rules. So if the dealer turns over their cards, they're gonna hit or not hit based on what the card is, right? It's not like the dealer has a choice. It just if it's under, you know what I'm saying? So it's like it's mechanical. So I don't know how. Now, if you were playing Texas Hold'em and I had an earpiece and I knew what other players had, like that would give me a tremendous advantage and I could win. But again, that involves having a plant at the table and every table.
Could this be as easy as just getting somebody with big money in the room? And they keep saying fixed card, but I don't know. They keep talking about the X right now. No, it's something. We'll find out what it is.
Yeah.
Breaking news, EJ in our Twitch chat room says that everyone at his office is pooping at the same time. All four stalls are full.
Well, of course they are.
You don't think I've ever seen that? I don't think I've ever seen. I've never gone, even at the radio station, for years I'd go in there, and that was the most disgusting bathroom ever. I don't think I ever went in there and saw a 3 deep. 3 wide in the corner, like NASCAR. All right.
All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, we're gonna do a new segment called "Healthy Time with Tom and Dan."
Oh, I like that. I like that a lot.
Gambling and health.
Yeah, it's a skull. The logo is a skull. He's got a carrot in his mouth. So we'll be right back. Okay, great. Let me save that. That is a Monday 3. Is that what you said?
Monday 3, yeah.
Is that it? Or
That's pretty much it.
Okay.
Does the chat room know anything about?
Yeah, do you guys know anything about that story at all?
I don't. I looked everywhere to the types of games they were playing, or like how, because that's what I find interesting is the specifics of how to cheat. I love cheating too. Like,
Look
I'm
how you've
fascinated with
affected
it.
Norm. Norm, you'd be proud of Norm. He bet on the Heat to win last night when we were down 3 and was happy to see the Magic win. He's betting against his own team now. Everybody that used to be have a team, they're all like, Tom has affected them.
No,
like,
you can bet against your own team.
No,
you're
not
betting on
supposed
the
to do that.
outcome. There's nothing to do. You don't have
Kevin
any
Boyle
magic.
will never do that. He'll
No,
never get him.
well,
at
he's
Penn
not a
State.
good gambler.
An Angel will never bet against the Steelers ever.
That's why they're not good gamblers.
And then Tracy said her husband bets against Orlando City. Yeah, I would too, because they're trash. That last game was just straight trash.
Well,
Trash last night. Trash.
You bet to win money, not to on your heart. What you want to happen. Who cares? Who cares what you want?
All right. Am I turning this off?
Yeah, I guess so. We got to go. We have another meeting in 15
yeah, we
minutes.
do
We
have
got
a
to
meeting.
prepare